Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudirayit. Nashtaprayeshu abhadreshu nityam bhagavata sevaya bhagavati uttama shloke bhaktir bhavati naishtaki. Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto number 2, chapter number 1, first step in God realization, text number 29. Indradayo bahava ahurushraha karnao dishah shrotstram mamushya shabdaha na satyadasrao paramasya nase grihanvasya gandho mukham agnir idaha. Indra Adayaha, demigods headed by the heavenly king Indra. Bahavaha, arms. Ahuhu are called. Ushraha, the demigods. Karnau, the ears. Dishaha, the four directions. Shrotram, the sense of hearing. Amushya, of the Lord. Shabdaha, sound. Nasatya Dasrao, the demigods known as the Ashwini Kumaras. Paramasya, of the Supreme. Nase, nostrils. Grinaha, the sense of smell. Asya, of him. Gandhaha, fragrance. Mukham, the mouth. Agnihi, fire. Idhaha, blazing. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. His arms are the demigods headed by Indra. The 10 directional sides are his ears, and physical sound is his sense of hearing. His nostrils are the 2 Ashwini Kumaras, and material fragrance is his sense of smell. His mouth is the blazing fire. Purport. The description of the gigantic form of the personality of Godhead made in the 11th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita is further explained here in the Srimad Bhagavatam. The description in the Bhagavad Gita 11.30 runs as follows. O Vishnu, I see you devouring all people in your blazing mouths and covering all the universes by your immeasurable rays. Scorching the worlds, you are manifest. In that way, Srimad Bhagavatam is the postgraduate study for the student of the Bhagavad Gita. Both of them are the signs of Krishna, the absolute truth, and so they are interdependent. The conception of the Virat Purusha, or the gigantic form of the Supreme Lord, is said to include all the dominating demigods as well as the dominated living beings. Even the minutest part of a living being is controlled by the empowered agency of the Lord. Since the demigods are included in the gigantic form of the Lord, worship of the Lord, whether in his gigantic material conception or in his eternal transcendental form as Lord Sri Krishna, also appeases the demigods and all the other parts and parcels, as much as watering the root of a tree distributes energy to all of the tree's other parts. Consequently, for a materialist also, worship of the universal gigantic form of the Lord leads one to the right path. One need not risk being misled by approaching many demigods for fulfillment of different desires. The real entity is the Lord Himself, and all others are imaginary, for everything is included in Him only. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Translation once again. His arms are the demigods headed by Indra. The 10 directional sides are his ears, and physical sound is his sense of hearing. His nostrils are the 2 Ashwini Kumaras, and material fragrance is his sense of smell. His mouth is the blazing fire. Excuse me. I'm sorry. So here, Srila Prabhupada, in his purport, is explaining this verse very, very clearly to us. Srimad Bhagavatam is a postgraduate study that indicates that these scriptures that we are studying, they have to be studied in a systematic way. Prabhupada always mentions, study Bhagavad Gita first, then Srimad Bhagavatam, starting from Canto 1 and then coming to Canto 12 systematically, and then go to Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita. Not jump over in a hurry. I know someone very well educated many years ago told me, used to come to my Bhagavad Gita class, came only for a few times. And then when I called up and asked, are you still reading Bhagavad Gita? And her response was, yes, every morning I close my eyes and I open the Bhagavad Gita, and whatever page opens up, that's what I read. That's not systematic study of the Bhagavad Gita. So for us to be able to understand Srimad Bhagavatam, which is a postgraduate study, we need to understand Bhagavad Gita completely. But when we see all these scriptures, whether it is Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita, they all talk about the science of Krishna. Only thing, the level of understanding is different, or the level of knowledge given is different. For example, in kindergarten or first grade, children are taught 2 plus 2 equals 4. But when they go to high school, the same mathematics is taught in the form of calculus. It's not that what the first grader is learning is wrong, but that's the basic knowledge. Gradually, you come to the postgraduate level. So as we can see, Srila Prabhupada's purports are so very clear, so very simple, that all the doubts can easily be removed just by concentrating or meditating or contemplating on his purports. And Srila Prabhupada mentions that Bhagavad Gita explains the universal form. Yes, it explains that universal form includes demigods. But here more information is given about the universal form. And towards the end, we see Srila Prabhupada talking about worshipping Krishna includes worship of demigods. And he gives a very nice example of watering the root of the tree. When we water the root of the tree, the whole tree gets nourished. Similarly, when we worship Krishna, all the demigods are automatically pleased. So there's no need to go to different demigods so that we can fulfill our different desires. Everything exists in Krishna. That means nothing exists outside of Krishna. Very, very important to understand. So if one pleases Krishna, one pleases everyone. No need to be, trying to satisfy this one and that one. No. Just please Krishna. So if one remains Krishna conscious, which is worshipping Krishna with all our mind and senses and intelligence and our heart, then one is very happy. But if one tries to become happy outside of Krishna, then without Krishna consciousness, that's Maya, that's illusion. That is actually shadow of real happiness. Or it's like a mirage in the desert where we think there is water, but there is no water. So it's called shadow happiness. Would we enjoy a shadow of prasadam? Like I show you all just the shadow of prasadam and say, enjoy. We cannot. Would someone enjoy a shadow of a spouse or marry a shadow of a spouse? No. Would someone be happy after working the whole month in the job? The boss shows the shadow of money and says, here's your paycheck. Would we be happy? No. Shadow does not give real happiness. It is only Maya. And that Maya illusion cannot satisfy us. So in the material world, there is only shadow happiness. And that's why we see people are so miserable, so frustrated. And there's no reason to be in misery. Everyone is existing within Krishna. Everyone is part of Krishna. The reason for misery, the reason for frustration is because there is no connection with Krishna. We need to reconnect with Him. Then real happiness will begin. In the Bhagavad Gita also we learned that if we want permanent happiness, then we need to perform bhakti. It is only bhakti, only devotional service that can bring us back to our original Krishna consciousness. What does Prabhupada say? Revive. That means it is there within us. All we need to do is wake up. Jeev jago, Gaura Chandra bole. We need to wake up, not literally open eyes and wake up, but wake up in Krishna consciousness, wake up with knowledge. That will give us relief from distress because pure devotional service brings transcendental bliss. And in that situation, one is able to understand Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Ishvara Parama Krishna, Satchidananda Vigraha. And we'll understand that everyone and everything is controlled by Krishna. So here we see Shukadev Goswami. He's describing since a few verses about the universal form of the Lord. He says the arms are demigods headed by Indra. Why? Because arms do most of the work, right? Maintenance of the physical body is done by the arms. Arms feed us, they pick up things, arms are used for bathing, etc., etc. And demigods, they are in charge of maintaining the universe. That's why, that is how they take care. And they, in fact, take care of every aspect of the universe, like providing rain, sunshine, air, etc. That's why they are considered the arms of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The next point Shukadev Goswami talks about is 10 directional sides are his ears. Ears are associated with directions. How? Because when we hear something, the ears identify the direction of the sound. Where is the sound coming from? And then we tend to seek the source of that sound. Now the ears are facing in one direction only, this way and this way, but they can receive sound from all directions. And that's why 10 directional sides are his ears. Nostrils are Ashwini Kumaras. Now, who are they? The Ashwini Kumaras, they are the heavenly physicians. And they are also considered herbalists because they are expert with herbs. Just by smelling herbs, they can identify them. And the herbs come from the earth. So the characteristic of earth is fragrance. That's why nostrils are associated with Ashwini Kumaras. Similarly, form is associated with fire, taste with water. Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, I am the taste of water, sound with ether, and touch with air. Then Shukadev Goswami talks about the mouth is the blazing fire. We see there is a reference about this in Bhagavad Gita, like Srila Prabhupada mentioned in the purport, 11th chapter. And we read the translation also. So even though there is knowledge about the universal form in Bhagavad Gita, and now we are hearing it in Srimad Bhagavatam, there is a difference, as we heard on Thursday from Maharaj. Someone asked a question and Maharaj said, no, they are different forms. They are not same. Different people focus on different aspects of the universal form. You see, description, when Arjuna saw the universal form, in Bhagavad Gita chapter 11, verse 15 onwards, Arjuna started describing that form. And Srimad Bhagavatam is explaining now. Arjuna said, yes, I see demigods in your body, in your universal form. But in Srimad Bhagavatam, how demigods are situated in the form are described. That means there is more knowledge. Bhagavad Gita is further explained in Srimad Bhagavatam. More details are given, like demigods are the arms, nostril, the Ashwini Kumaras, etc. That was not explained in the Bhagavad Gita because that is high school level. That is why Prabhupada says Srimad Bhagavatam is a postgraduate study of what? Science of Krishna. First step in God realization. So here we see Shukadev Goswami. He is explaining to Parikshit Maharaj that you are on the threshold of death. You cannot make a mistake. You're fortunate that you know when you're going to die. If someone is diseased, has an illness, sometimes gets an idea, how long. Doctor may say, oh, you have 3 months to live or whatever. Some ballpark idea about, impending death. But death can come at any time. So we have to be prepared for the last moment. And because of that, Shukadev Goswami is explaining to Parikshit Maharaj the position of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna. That everything is part of Krishna, everything is Krishna. He is present everywhere. He is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, cause of all causes. Now, Krishna, he is everything. Everything is within him. He has everything. What can we give to someone who has everything? Nothing. He doesn't need anything. He doesn't even need us. But still, out of his causeless mercy, he is giving us an opportunity to serve him. And by serving him, he is not the one who will get the benefit. It is us who will get the benefit. How? Serving Krishna with love and devotion will help us to get purified. And that will bring us to a level where we'll become qualified to go back to Godhead. He's ready to accept us. He's ready to accept our love and our devotional service. But there is a condition. It has to be with love. Whatever service we perform must be with love. When we love somebody and we want to serve that person, it could be anybody, our children, our spouse, parents, it could be anybody. When we love someone and we want to serve, we serve with attention. So, chanting the holy names of the Lord is also service to the Lord. We are calling out to Him, we are begging Him, we are praying to Him, please engage me in your service. So, if we chant without attention, then that is not love and devotion. That is why attentive chanting is very important. In fact, inattentive chanting, when we chant without attention, is considered an offense. An offense can really destroy our spiritual life. So the service should be attentive chanting. Krishna has nothing to do with this material world. This material world is actually a playground for us, where we are trying to control, we are trying to be the boss, we're trying to, control this one and this situation. We are trying to be the head, the boss, the master. We are trying to do something that we are not. We are not the controllers. We can't even control our own body. We cannot control the blinking of our eyes. We cannot control the body from disease or growing old. Cannot control our mind. Yet, we think we are the controllers, trying to be proprietors, trying to be enjoyers. But what happens? We end up as servants. Serving the mind, the senses, the body, the family, the society, the country. We're just serving. When we are actually servants, why not serve the Supreme Personality of Godhead? So Shukadev Goswami, at Parikshit Maharaj's impending death, is explaining to him that this entire material creation is Krishna. So you can meditate on him in that way. Now, Parikshit Maharaj was the emperor of the world, the whole entire planet. He could have easily exploited the resources. He could have spent his life enjoying for hundreds of years. He could have done that. He could have also counteracted the curse, Prabhupada says. He was qualified to counteract the curse. But he had no desire to do all that. He did not think, oh, if I die in 7 days, how will I enjoy? Let me counteract it and let me enjoy for hundreds of years. No, he did not. Why? Because he was the pure devotee of the Lord. He understood that this is the plan of the Supreme Lord. This is the time when I need to leave in 7 days. And being a pure devotee, he did the right thing. He approached a bona fide spiritual master and inquired. Tad vidhi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya. We need to inquire. Now one may say, oh well, he was going to die in 7 days, so it was okay for him to inquire. What about us? We are going to live for a long time. We should not be in that illusion. Death can come at any moment. So we need to prepare for the final examination. And at that time, everything is going to come to an end. All our relations, our possessions, even our body will come to an end. What does Bhagavad Gita say? Those who are born are sure to die, and after death, they're sure to be born again. So why just keep coming back into this material world again and again? Like Prahlad Maharaj says, chewing the chewed. There is no juice left. Why are we trying hard to try and get at least one drop of juice, one drop of enjoyment? That's not possible in the material world. So those who are born are sure to die. Come empty-handed, go empty-handed, leave everything behind. And we see Shukadev Goswami, he owned nothing, not even a cloth to cover his body. He had no possessions at all. Let us just think about this. When we look at the place that we live, our home, it could be an apartment or a house or whatever it may be, a townhouse, a condo, whatever, wherever we are living, just look around and see how many things do we possess. And how many things that we possess are unnecessary. They are just decorative pieces which have no value at all. I remember when I got married and came to my husband's house from Hyderabad to Mumbai, no furniture. I was like, what? And he had that consciousness at that time, even though he did not have access to Srila Prabhupada's Bhagavad Gita. He said, what is the need? We can sleep on the floor. We are young. And even when we came to America, no furniture. Up until when people started coming to the house for hearing Bhagavad Gita and they could not sit on the floor, so we kept one couch or one chair, something like that. Now, of course, old age cannot sit on the floor, so have to have a chair to sit on. But the idea is all the possessions that we have in the house, are they being used for Krishna's service? Or is it just decorative pieces which we are going to leave behind? Came empty-handed, have to go empty-handed. Shukdev Goswami had no possessions, and yet Parikshit Maharaj, even though he was the emperor, he recognized the pure devotee. He recognized the spiritual qualities of Shukadev Goswami. Unfortunately, in the material world, we are judged by our possessions, the way we dress, the jewelry we wear, the car we drive, the palace in which we live, in the mansion. We are identifying with the body and the possessions. And this is due to false ego and lack of knowledge. What else can we call it? When we see people on the streets or in the mall or in the stores, they are all identifying with their bodies. So in other words, they are not real because they don't know their real identity. But Srila Prabhupada, he knows exactly who he is, and that is why he's teaching us who we are. He knows exactly what's the purpose of life, and he's teaching us what is the purpose of life, how to serve Krishna. He's the ambassador of Krishna. He's come down to teach us how to live and how to die. His purports are so very clear, so simple to understand, and gives us knowledge so we can really identify ourselves as the spirit soul, not as the body. All we need to do is hear, contemplate, and follow. That's about it. And it all will begin with attentive chanting. In the Sharanagati, Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, inattentive chanting is an offense. But attentive chanting is all that is needed to purify oneself. Everything else will fall in place. Then mind will come under control, senses will be under control. It will not be difficult to control them at all. It's all a matter of taking on the knowledge and following the path. I was listening to a lecture by Gokula Ranjan Prabhu on this verse, and he gave a very nice story. He said there were two brothers. One was very pious. He used to study the Shastras. He would recite the scriptures. He would, follow the spiritual path. Whereas the other brother had no spiritual purpose at all. He was very cruel, very sinful. And after death, he became a ghost. And he was suffering as a ghost. So this brother in the form of ghost comes to his brother and says, can you please help me? I am really suffering. I'm begging you, please help me. I know I was wrong. I did not lead the human form of life properly. I ruined my life. I was very sinful. I should have listened to you. You kept telling me, hear scriptures, recite scriptures, but I was not interested. But now, please help me. I'm suffering. So the brother said, okay, I'll help you. He said, go get a bamboo stick with 7 knots in them. And I want you to go inside that bamboo stick. So the ghost brother went inside the bamboo stick. Now, this brother started reciting Srimad Bhagavatam. On the first day when he recited Srimad Bhagavatam, the first knot on that bamboo went pop, like that. On the second day, pop. Third day, pop. Fourth, fifth, sixth, every day it just popped. But on the 7th day of reciting Srimad Bhagavatam, there was a big boom. And they could see all the people who were sitting and hearing Bhagavatam, they could see a very brilliant light flying outside, coming out of the bamboo, and went straight to Vaikuntha Loka. And then this brother explained who this is. This is my brother who was in a ghost form. And now he is liberated and he's gone back to the spiritual world. He asked me for help. So I asked him to attend the Srimad Bhagavat class for 7 days. Now those who were all present over there, they thought that was unfair. We have been hearing Bhagavatam from you for such a long time, and here your brother goes to Vaikuntha in 7 days. That is very unfair. He got the mercy, but we did not. So the brother explained the difference. He said, my brother was suffering. He realized he was suffering, and he wanted to hear Srimad Bhagavatam, but he paid attention to Srimad Bhagavatam, and that is why he went back to Vaikuntha. But you all are sitting in the Bhagavatam class, but where is your mind? Are you being attentive? Are you listening Srimad Bhagavatam seriously? Are you hearing it with full attention? Then how can you call it to be unfair? Gokul Ranjan Prabhu was saying that the ghost brother had the Draupadi moment, where like Draupadi, when she couldn't help herself, then she reached out to Krishna, Govinda, help, kind of, completely helpless. And then she surrendered to Krishna. That's what this ghost brother did. He was helpless and he surrendered to Srimad Bhagavatam and went back to Vaikuntha. What does Krishna tell us in Bhagavad Gita? He preserves what we have and he carries what we lack. But provided there is full surrender. And that full surrender begins with attentive chanting of Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. The verse again. His arms are the demigods headed by Indra. The 10 directional sides are his ears, and physical sound is his sense of hearing. His nostrils are the two Ashwini Kumaras, and material fragrance is his sense of smell. His mouth is the blazing fire. I'll end here. Thank you, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much, Mother Gita, for very nice lectures. So much to be learned from. Dear devotees, this is the time to unmute yourself who have a question to ask or a realization that's come from hearing this lecture or some takeaways that you want to, that really inspired you that you want to talk about or mention. This is the time to unmute